Respected dignitaries on and off the dais, uh, all the friends present here. This is an opportunity when I was invited to talk about MSME ecosystem and what SIDBI's role is there. I was thinking, what shall I speak about? I was thinking whether I shall talk about the schemes that we have to offer to our MSME friends. But I thought that is a very little aspect of what SIDBI does. It's a very small aspect of what SIDBI does and what we've done for the MSME ecosystem as a whole. So I would, I started thinking what to tell, because if I ask an MSME, how do they know SIDBI? So they will say, as a financer. If I ask industry association or our friends like CIMSME or LCA or people in PIA, they will say that yes, we are an enabler, we want to reach out to industries, and we use their platform, we also help them to help the MSMEs. If I ask government what do I do, so the government will come back and say I'm a driver of their schemes, taking the subsidies to MSMEs, taking their schemes to MSMEs. I'm a digital partner for government also now, so that is another thing. If I ask an international multilateral agency like ADB or World Bank or agencies from Japan and Europe, and they all will say that we seen as a facilitator for MSMEs, the only development financial institution that they know in India for MSMEs. So it's like wherever I go, I'm seen differently. And there is no platform where probably I've got an opportunity, or we get an opportunity to tell as to what SIDBI had been doing over the last 32 years of its existence. So we came into being in 1990 by an act of parliament, and our statute itself says that we are for promotion, finance and development of MSMEs. So financing is just a small part of it. And if I look at it, I have to tell, so I thought let me just tell everybody here that what we have done in these 32 years, what is the impact of what we've done. Starting with the first thing that we do is, of course, everybody knows we are a refinancer, also financer to all the banks and NBFCs. Even today, as on date, more than 2.25 lakh crore of worth of money has been pumped into the MSME ecosystem by SIDBI through using the banking channels, banks, NBFCs, MFIs, and through this system, what we have done is we have become a market enabler, market multiplier. So the funds that are required to reach out to MSMEs at a cheaper cost, we have used this entire network of institutions, and today 2.25 lakh crore as on date is standing through our assistance in the market. More than 25 million MSMEs have got assistance using SIDBI through these ecosystem. So that's another thing. One of the most important thing that SIDBI has done is long back recognized that unless and until we bring the micro entrepreneurs into the formal channels, nothing can be achieved in the country. People who are very small, requiring 25,000, 50,000, 1 lakh rupee assistance, but then we were very small in terms of our network. Our network was very small, how to reach out to them. So we in 1990 identified microfinance institutions which were lending into the hinterlands, into the last mile lending, helping women entrepreneurs, helping rural entrepreneurs. And that was the time when we invested into these MFIs. We took seed investments into that. We took capital, we invested into their capital. And over these years, these microfinance institutions have grown into banks. And I'm proud to say that out of those microfinance institutions today, one of them has become a universal bank, that is Bandhan Bank, and 9 of them are small finance banks now. And they have pumped so much of money into the system, bringing out these small micro entrepreneurs, giving them, helping, if I'm not wrong, more than 4 crore households, over the period of these 20-25 years. We were the first banker to get into the venture capital ecosystem. There was no other bank. In the 90s, we got into the venture capital ecosystem. We managed so many IT funds in the early 2000s. And we have managed all these, not only managed funds, but we also created 5 venture capital AMCs in the country, in the states. Karnataka was also one, if you've heard about Kitwen. So Kitwen was one company, Karnataka IT Venture Capital Limited was one company. Similarly, 4 more companies we had created for IT venture capital investments. We were also assigned the job of India Aspiration Fund by Government of India, and in 2016, Government of India entrusted us with 10,000 crore fund of funds, through which we are now providing funds to alternate investment funds, AIF. We are funding them for them to on-lend to the entrepreneurs. We the startup ecosystem, to on-lend to startup ecosystem. We have our own startup subsidiary, venture capital subsidiary called SIDBI Venture Capital Limited, set up in 2000. Then coming to cluster development, we are today having a 10,000 crore fund for funding cluster infrastructure into the country. We are collaborating with all the state governments, most of the state governments, and bringing in cheap cost funds to develop modern state-of-the-art cluster infrastructure. And this also we've been able to do with the help of Reserve Bank of India and Government of India. And we've got 10,000 crore from them. Already in Karnataka, means I will just share it with you of that we are now in Karnataka looking at a project of where the Government of Karnataka is modernizing 150 ITIs, and we are funding that project for modernizing the ITIs so that the people, these people who come out of these ITIs are industry ready, and they look to becoming entrepreneurs rather than being getting employed. So they are being trained on the most modern machineries. They are CNCs, VNCs, robotics, 3D printers. Everything is provided in these ITIs. So they are now learning on that so that they are industry ready. We are also into environmental and sustainable production techniques, financing. So we call it ESG financing. And we are partners with Green Climate Fund. Today, I think in India, only 2 financial institutions are affiliated to GCF. SIDBI is one of them. We give funds at a cheap cost for energy saving equipments, for getting into alternative source of electricity, solar, windmills. And this we are looking at in a large, very big way. So our target this year, we are looking at creating additional solar funding to the tune of 1 gigawatt for this year. So that is the kind of funding we are looking at pumping into this. We are into waste management, we are into rainwater harvesting, wherever it is required, SIDBI is helping. Then we also saw there is a need for getting into creating NBFC ecosystem, the last mile, the smaller NBFCs. We have more than 10,000 registered NBFCs in this country, and I think out of this 900 or 950 are rated, But it's the only 50, 60 NBFCs which are AA or A rated and above, which are getting funds from the market and which are able to on lend at a much lesser price. Money is a problem for all other NBFCs, and they are not able to reach out to the ultimate MSMEs, the beneficiaries, at a cheaper cost. So cost of funding, if we want to reduce their cost of borrowing, ultimately the cost of lending to the MSMEs, we need to bring this sector up. And we are looking at today creating an ecosystem at a structure where we capacity build, train these NBFCs through agencies which are specialists in this area, and make them migrate through this rating ladder and go up the rating ladder. So from maybe double B to move up to A or A plus or AA, so that they can get funding from the market. And these are the NBFCs, smaller NBFCs, which probably have a very good viable model of lending, and they reach out to the last mile into the underserved areas, into the rural hinterlands, but they have no access to finance. So these are some of the things which I felt I should tell you about what SIDBI has done about its impact in the last 32 years. Some things I might have, I guess, one important thing that I missed out was digitization. So SIDBI has created institutions and institutions for MSMEs. I think Mr. Gopinath Rao just spoke about online online PSB loans, where loans are being given in 59 minutes, not given in principal approvals given. OPL has been promoted by SIDBI. We are the people who conceptualized and developed it in collaboration with 5 banks. We are one of the major shareholders of that. And through OPL, we are doing so many other things. Another thing we have is a TReDS platform. So like M1 Exchange we were about to, we have our own TReDS platform that is called RXIL, Receivable Exchange of India Limited. That is also digitization using through that. Then we created through Government of India Credit Guarantee Fund for small and micro enterprises with the Government of India. We still manage that company, and through CGTMSE more than 30 lakh guarantees have been given, and for approximately more than 3 lakh crore worth of loans have been guaranteed by CGTMSE. We also run and operate the National Credit Guarantee Corporation of India, NCGTC. And we know during COVID what happened, and NCGTC is the sole manager of the ECLGS scheme that is run by Government of India. We are seen by Government of India, any ministry which wants to do anything for any subsidy for MSMEs, SIDBI is the go-to bank. So whether it is MSME ministry, whether it is leather ministry, food processing ministry, textile ministry, if they have a scheme where they are giving subsidy or some kind of benefit to MSME, it is every time nodal agency is SIDBI. So that is the kind of impact and the reputation that we have got it created over a period of year. And I must tell you, this is without getting any government support. 1990 government set up with a 450 crore capital. And today also that is the only fund that we have taken from Government of India. We are an organization which is making a difference, but running commercially. We are making 2,500 crore profit in a year. And that profit we are doing despite lending at the cheapest of the rates. That is because that is the competence that we have developed in this field. Today, I was just discussing with Mr. Suresh Sagar. So he was telling, you are like, आप लोगों को तो कोई first-hand experience nahi hai or lending to MSME. So I said, yes, our lending operations are very small. In my balance sheet of 2.25 lakh crore, we have only 15,000 crore which we lend directly to the bank. But that lending only 15,000 crore, we do it as experimentation. We don't do it We don't do it for purpose of commercial viability because that doesn't give us, we do it for experimentation. What experimentation? I'll tell you. We float, you can see the standees here. We bring out every year 5 to 7 new products, which we do lot of engineering about it, lot of financial engineering about it. Because we interact with these associations, we interact with the MSMEs, we directly lend, we learn a lot. And I can tell you one successful product that we bring out. For that we have 3 unsuccessful products which nobody knows, because we have a system of having a test marketing of a product. Unless and until that touches a outstanding value of more than 100 crore, we do not convert it into a formal product. And so that is the kind of investment that we do into MSME banking. Coming to MSMEs, see if you, we have around 6.5 crore MSMEs, and what Gopinath Rao ji said, 1 crore only. So now our next one most important project that we have taken up with Ministry of MSMEs is formalization of all the MSMEs. How to bring all these 6.5 crore MSMEs into formal credit channels and getting them registered as MSMEs. Aapko registration bhi nahi hai. So this is one of the big projects that we have taken up. We are into NBFCs. Again, we are coming up with a score called FIT score. Abhi, as of date, whatever the bankers are using is CIBIL score or CMR score, whatever is available in the public domain. But there is nothing for MSMEs which no comfort they derive from a comprehensive kind of a rating. So we are coming with a FIT score, which is a financial plus income tax plus trade score. So we are collaborating with CRISIL to create that and then come out with a FIT score, which is a rating which will be given to all the MSMEs based on their historical data, their CIBIL score, their CMR, everything taken together. And this will give a lot of, and this is an industry specific, this is not SIDBI specific thing. This is an industry specific thing which will help MSMEs help the banks get a lot of comfort while giving loans to MSMEs. So I will not take much more of your time. We are an institution which always believes in experimentation, believes in being dynamic, being fleet-footed, so that we are aware, we are always in tune with the times, we change with times, we adopt the most modern technology. Today, even one more thing that I can say when I'm talking about technology, SIDBI is the first bank in its lending process that we are end-to-end digitized. When I say end-to-end digitized, that means right from application to recovery, we have a digital system, totally digital system in which even documentation is done online. So my borrower sits at home and I sit at my office and we sign the documents. So that is the kind of things, innovation that we keep on doing. And I'm certain that with the help of MSMEs, of course, our drivers are MSMEs. They are the driving force for us. We are working for them because we know that they are the most important people for the economy. More than 30% of GDP comes through MSMEs. More than 48% of the export of this country is through MSMEs. They have employed 11 crore people. I don't think there is anything to say that most important sector in this economy is MSMEs. And that is what we want to facilitate, grow, and grow with them. Thank you.